start fights. Varus also does that. I don't think it's quite as good as the Ash Arrow, but that is going to be the lock-in here.
This is very curious. I think T1 have a really well-rounded composition. Still very magic heavy.
Yeah.
From like everywhere. So, yeah, they're looking for an angle here. As Smash could be the target. There's the headbutt. Double pulverized from Lahens. As Gio just not really able to do anything because Ona's making his way forward. He picks up a Poppy and looks to see whether he can get rid of him. And there is first blood. And it goes to the Zeri. Flash forward here from Ona. They are not done yet.
Even with the double knock-up, not quite going to be in range. It's another attempt at a play.
We're going for it one more time. That's another double pulverize. Getting the flash this time out of Smash.
That's good. Good play.
Yeah, well played.
Gio has not been hitting these arrows, as Doran might be in trouble again.
Yeah, doesn't have flash this time around, so he's just going to get booped around like a ragdoll, and Gideon going to help Kingin grab his first kill of the game. Misses the last needlework there, as we can see. So Kingin
missing Kingin.
All right, he's feeling pretty safe. Does have the flash, elects not to use it as he does then jump over, but the seismic shove comes in, and of course, he is just going to die. T1 with
about it. Even a single smite going to 5 would be nice. Not a necessity, but it looks like they want to try and go for that.
Yeah, smite actually going to be invested. Hex flash out from Gideon. Ona just barely unable to counter that. And 5-1 in Grub's going to be the thing here as Gio going to have to flash. As Faker with a really nice lineup has.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Nope. She is also always in our heads telling us what's going on. As the first dragon of the game taken, what, like...
Holds on to the flash.
That's
Faker
big.
Takes a big Q there from Gio at the same time as Doran going for it once again. That last needlework not quite going to connect as Faker is everywhere, but Calyx is still going to kill this turret no matter what he does. Let's see whether Faker can finish him off. The answer is no. T1 just not wanting to overextend the ebb and flow here as Calyx looks for a flank angle. He is spotted, and remember, there are rocks, so he can't just use that shifting sands with impunity. Gio now continuing to get some control here as Smash comes down to collect the wave. And Nongshim still holding on to this one, but it should be a 50-50 as he just gets rid of him. And that is just going to be a bit of a burst onto this Rift Herald as there it is, it's stolen by Ona. Not going to be able to pick up this Azir with the Impale, and now Gio comes on over Carrier. Gonna have to get himself out of there as Lahens does have the ulti, and back in he goes! Oh! Smash gets taken by this Azir, but it's still feats of strength going over to T1. Gideon in a lot of trouble as well as Kingin. Gonna have to try and get out of there, but Faker, there is no way out for the Jace. And now
the flash pulverized to take one of the biggest damage, and then
Gio's just dead. Faker is just going to murder him underneath his own turret.
We don't even get Lahens.
Okay, he's looking for some sort of angle here, as it's Carrier that he's elected to try and kill. He gets thrown back though.
No flash.
Oh, King, you do not have very much action so far this game. And Lahens is going to have his back stopped, and maybe he is just dead. He does have his ultimate, so it might be that one that needs to be pressed first, but he doesn't even want to do that. As
Gideon has his ult.
Got a teleport coming in from the Gwen as Lahens gets on top of Smash. The heroic charge comes down, and that is a piercing arrow to execute the Zeri. They're now losing so much of their DPS in this fight. As now Kingin positions behind his team, and we're flipping. We are going to land the Chains of Corruption, and there goes the jungler in support. They'll take the voracious Otacon. Calyx grabs his second against Doran, and Nongshim destroy the team fight.
All part of Lahens' long-term plans, Atlas.
Oh, there it is. Flash to get out of the way of that one. Activating Hex Flash, maybe a positive. Now Doran gets into the mist. I don't know about this one as they evict the jungler, and Gideon is just going to say that is time for us to take the out of
range to the maximum potential, just kind of run in. But they do get the dragon, and that's a really big deal.
Yep. I think the thing that's impressed me the most is how they've shut down Doran so effectively. It's just gone. They are masterminds. They are using T1's strategies against them. Now they're going to get the idea of what's going on, but there goes the Baron, and Lahens says, Ona, get the heck out of here. They might lose their Alistair, but I don't think they're too worried about that one, as goodbye Gwen. And the Impale is going to skewer him, but I mean, you can eat a kebab, but you're not going to win this game. I got to stop making the steak references. I really do.
I just needed the second to parse that one. I'm like, what? Kebabs? That's too expensive for a kebab, okay? You're giving up a Baron, That's not worth.
That's the Wagyu kebab, right?
I think this game he has been having a great impact on Talia. A lot of impact in side lanes, looking a lot cleaner.
They're getting engaged on. There's a free double pulverize there as Doran pulls himself over. Seismic Shove doesn't get Gideon over the wall as he flashes away. Some knockouts coming on through here as Smash has already grabbed a kill, and Ona, he comes on in, but Lehens has got an unbreakable will, and he's basically immortal. Kingen gonna take down the Scorpion and gets rid of Smash. Still, they're able to take down.
Calix was actually looking for more there.
Whoa. G, what are we doing? We are baiting out the enemy team as they push Owner in. Billy's looking for Jew, and maybe this is why Jew is playing like a plastic bag for the early game, to set up for the greatest bait of all time.
Well, he fooled us, so of course he also fools T1.
All right, well, Calix has got out of there and in there at the same time. Still
a second Infernal Drake out.
Yeah, second Infernal going to go over to Nongshim. I want to just consult the gold lead just for a moment. It's only 2,000. At 30 minutes into the game, that means basically nothing. They're going to move on over. There is a Scry's Orb just to make sure that they're not taking this Baron down. And Calix and Gideon take that as an invitation. Lehens. He could be the target. He does have to use the ult to get out of the Impale. Flick back there as well as they are committing to this Baron. Doran's getting over there, but I don't know whether they're going to be able to do this in time as Owner is relatively low and they're still on this Baron. Owner is going to have to flash out, but there goes Calix, and it's Smash that's being the hero. The Baron will be locked down by Nongshim, and now they really want to get out of there. All that wild growth from Carrier says no to King, and Jiu's on the wrong side of the map. Gideon, the last Baron left standing as he's going to get the flick. There goes the kill, and T1 right back in the driver's seat.
They clean aced them! That's game!
That should just be game over.
Ah!
Okay.
Not even close, Atlas.
Yeah,
this was...
yeah. They were in control the whole time.
All along. There was no worry whatsoever.
Nope.
I did not expect the Infinity Edge power spike to be that big a deal. As, they do not...
Well, actually tanking a little bit.
It's too much.
I don't think Calix is going to be able to kill this minion wave.
Well, you will.
And they got 5 grubs.
There's the next one, right? The next one is Kongan in. That's just it.
Yep. They're just going to be able to execute these turrets. Down goes the Nexus as well, and T1 just rip victory from the jaws of defeat in game 1. I don't think that there's going to be too much celebrating in the many moons ago as Carrier diving towards his Nico of old. This is a champion that he's found a lot of success on in the past, but it was often in Callista lanes. So he would often have a whole lot of extra pizzazz to play around post 6. And we'll see whether he's giving back as much as they're getting here as Kingen moving up towards Doran, just missing the chains there as we can see, but able to Kingslayer over the level 2 spike. Looking good for the Sylas as the Boomerang does go wide.
Imagine how to trade... I was about to say, if he hits the chain...
Yeah, and he does! That's the solo! And the flash down!
Attention towards the bot lane as...
Oh, God.
Oh, God. It's no flash.
It's gone from bad to worse, ladies and gentlemen, as Doran's level 3, and he's just dead. Gideon!
So, it's also because with Sylas, once you get enough ability haste, like the chain is basically just not on cooldown.
Oh God, if he lands another chain, and it could be all over, as Owner is coming on up, and Kingen not overextending. Oh, unless he is. Yeah, he is. He's just going to get executed. Owner comes in and up on here in this top lane as we do have the swap occurring. And Gideon should be able to lock down the remaining grub here. So that is first the snare coming on through from Carrier as Doran with the Nah just flashes on top of Kingen. Can he get the ult off? The answer is yes, as Doran's tanking it up and will go down. A 1-for-1 under the bottom outer turret. Faker, but it should be the first grub being taken at least. It's the rest of T1 wanting to fight for this. 3 versus 3, but it's a flanking Lehens. And Calix is lying in wait as well, so 5 grubs going to be the answer. The arrow goes entirely wide as there is a cocoon to interrupt the bullet time. Ona now getting a bit of a heal as the knockup comes through with the Pop Blossom. Still the heroic charge not going to be enough, and Carrier will be the answering kill. Calix grabs that one, and there's the Justice Punch onto Faker. Lehens looking for a little bit more. As they
still 6, like Nongshim still won that, right? 6 grabs for them. They end up getting the dragon as a little extra gift as well, which gets them feats.
Yeah. And now a couple of plates going to be traded here, as at least Smash getting a little bit of an advantage. Dew coming on up, but isn't able to actually get very many of these pesky minions. They're in a bit of an awkward spot. Lahen's going to turn up, though, and they're looking to play aggressively. They will get the cleanse out of Smash immediately. Cocoon going to land there as well as Dew's just walking at him. Frost shot going to connect. The volley's going to land as well, and there is nothing they could do about it. That's a huge knock from Kingen, who's just diving the turret. Ulti going to miss as Kingen will go down in the 1v1, but Ona now will find Gideon, and that's going to even it out for T1. They'll take a little bit more. Wind becomes lightning. There's a nice little heal there from Gideon as he's just fighting as best he can, but the damage is going to be there from Ona.
Setting up as, oh, it doesn't spot.
Yeah, all right. We'll see whether Kingen's going to be able to ward them off. Tough. He really wants someone to pick up turret aggro before he throws out the ulti, but there's Smash with an ulti of his own. He finds it.
Chains!
As Smash gonna have to flash for it, and he does pick up the map. T1 gonna be able to grab the outer on the bottom side, but if this inner turret goes down, Nongshim are gonna win out on the play. Still, they're able to defend, and Gideon is able to take the Rift Herald as Lahen's taking a lot of damage. Teleport in from Faker is gonna get him towards this top side. There goes the spider, squished like a bug. But it is the Galio being able to make it out relatively safe. I say safe, as they do get the taunt onto Faker here. Pop Blossom comes out from Carrier, who was pretending to be Ona there. The arrow is going to connect. Now Faker's in trouble, and Gideon, with the ulti running, is seeing what he can get done here. There's Kingen to lock down the first one. Chains land onto Ona. Smash taken down as well. Kingen, an absolute monster on this Sylas. And Doran cannot catch up here as Carrier going down exceptionally low, or at least looking like he did as he was transformed. Still, Calyx is going to fall, and Doran looking to try and get out. Wind just barely not becoming lightning there.
And the fact that Carrier doesn't die is a big deal, as now we're not done fighting.
Yeah, Ona lying in wait. We've got a Rift Herald coming down as well, as it is going to be Gideon controlling the ulti, controlling the dragon, sorry. Now they're going to have to possibly get themselves out of here. Let's see whether they can. It's Pop Blossom from Kingen going to come on through. Down goes Doran before he can do anything at all. And well, it's down to 4,000 health. They're focusing it. And yeah, I don't know whether Ona's going to be able to get here. He does! And he steals it away! Highway robbery here from T1 is now Gideon. Kingen gets the flash in. They take down the Nico immediately. There's the knockup onto Faker. He is completely taken out. And now Lahen's, he will be taken by Doran, but Faker is still in trouble, and there is the taunt to finish him off. Doran goes down as Chew gets his hands on this Gnar, and over the wall comes Calyx, or at least he tries to. Not going to be able to there, and they'll settle for a kill under the
fight. A free-man ultimate.
And with the Otacon little wall there, I think it also stunned Ona.
He did, yeah, that's the hits the Freeman is also, or was also, at exactly 26.
All right. So not exactly end of the world, as in comes Ona, and they are just going to kill Lahen's. He does repel, gets onto a Mega Blast, going to never mind. They don't kill Lahen's, they try to kill Lahen's. And Lahen's says no. As there's a taunt on to Carrier here, who's dead. That's a colossal smash to the noggin. Right, yeah, that's actually a really good game plan. Mind control them into taking the Baron. It's Lahen's
working.
Possibly in trouble. Smash could be in the wrong spot now, though, as Faker is realm warped in. Gideon engages on top of him. The rest of T1 a little bit too far away, though, and down goes the jungler. That's what I'm discovering.
That was the game plan!
Oh, God, Kingen also has a Gnar ultimate here. Is going to be really dangerous if T1 go for a counter engage, so the Baron is just gone. The bullet time is an attempt. But it's a fail.
He's not live, right? Not able to actually show up to the fight. Not having the Pop Blossom.
Oh, Ona thinks that he's found an angle, but instead it's Lahen's that cocoons him up. The rest of T1 are turning up, but Gideon is ignoring them. Wind becomes lightning. Ona is going to get taken down so incredibly low as Kingen finds an ulti. Chew finds an arrow. He knocks it. He takes down Bristle and Sejuani. And now T1 looking to try and defend their inner turret, but these are Baroned up minions. These are 6 grubs, and Nongshim are having none of it.
Atlas, by any chance, have you looked at your hands recently?
Yes. Oh man, it's quite moist. I'm not gonna lie, there is game all over these hands, Chronicler.
Well, it doesn't have to be wet. It could just be contact soul.
Yeah.
Nongshim might have actually done it this time around, Atlas.
Well, you say that, and you also often say that curses aren't real, but I'm not gonna need to worry about that too much. And T1, they know that they need to fight for this one. In goes Gideon, just deciding to start off the fight. I don't know about that one, as the ulti does come on through, and he does stay alive. But he's going down relatively low. Kingen on a flank angle finds an Gnar ulti once again. He's been so good with these. I think mainly because he likes playing Gnar. and so he's pretty good at it in general. Doran has a Narbar in perfect position, though, as Calyx gets engaged on. He just goes into his Zhonya's, though. That's going to buy a lot of time here as they take the Soul, and Chemtech Soul is going to help them so much. Look at these health bars, already prepared as the Pop Blossom does nothing, but the Gnar does everything from King, and Bullet Time is just going to get immune by the 2 members of Nongshim, and the Realm Warp does work, but it just tries to buy time. It just tries to get them out of there, and T1 is still going to die. And we are then going to go to 3 games. Here we are, Nongshim. They find the angle here in game 2.
Nongshim got close in game 1, but it wasn't quite enough. The Baron ended up being their downfall. That start of the fight with Gideon getting chunked, I was worried, but I needn't be, as Nongshim knocking down the Nexus.
Amazing stuff.
Woo!
And as far as bounce backs are concerned,
King and
God, the GP. And if ever there is an ego pick angle, the GP into Sion from Kingen is certainly looking at that. But also it fits, you know, you've got like a lot of these globals and things like that. You know, following up on any sort of skirmish, Nongshim always need to be careful of the follow-up. Speaking of follow-up, Cannon Barrage coming in immediately as there's the Devour used, but the knockoff keeps them in place. First Blood goes over to the Nocturne. The Flame Chompers with the massive value as it's not quite up, but Calyx comes in. Spirit rushes in, Spirit rushes out, and then dies. Faker gonna be able to pick that one up. 2 for 1 in the end this game. As T1, with all of that control that they had on that top side, is going to reward them with these grubs.
The mid game thus far not looking the way I think Nongshim is looking towards. Gideon made a great impact with his first ult, going to be looking.
I think it's
Faker,
also...
Faker and Smash will just kind of run the fights later on.
Ooh, carry a face checking Gideon here. He will get a little bit frightened, as we can see. Lahen's turning up as well as the quickness comes down. They do manage to get a charm, but the rest of T1, they're turning up faster, and there's the teleport in as well from the Sion. Flame Chompers will be eaten, and so is Lahen's. As Ono looking there from Kingen.
They need to dive, because this is very costly. No one is matching Kingen right now. Faker's on his way, but we'll see if this works.
Yeah, Cannonbra. Oh, right on the edge of the queue, and down goes the Nocturne in the blink of it.
Ideally for Grobs as well. That's gonna be feats going over to T1.
Yeah. So turret going to be secured. Upgraded shoes coming on in there. As Lahans, you can see, really wanting to find an angle. They dive onto Carrier, who does have the gray health, eats it, and still goes down. The train is going to land. Massive double knockup. Super Mega Death Rocket comes in, but Smash is going to get CC'd by Lahans. One more auto required, but look at this. T1, they just say, we've got a train, and we will just run you over. No! And you cannot even get it. Oh, no. That is insult meeting injury. That is an ace, and T1 take full control.
Doran actually saving the game there.
Yep. Nongshim plays up to T1, and T1 is still able to put them down. As Faker
eventually does get to the point where if you can get access to Jinx and Kench isn't near, you can blow her up.
Oh, Kingens found Doran. Kinda. Well, actually, he's taken real damage. In comes the Kai'Sa to try and help out as well as the barrels are connecting. He just wants to get to a good position, but doesn't have the ulti anymore. As the knockup comes down, but he is still going to die, ladies and gentlemen. The trial is by fire, and he has not passed. And
they have to be a little careful here.
Away, yeah. Lahan's going to get engaged on, and there's the chain CC. The Rakan nowhere to go, although does at least manage to get an ability off, but that is going to be Ona securing. Turret does fall, but the Otacon will do the same thing, and this is going to give them a whole lot more as well. As all of these blood petals come on through, they get all the experience and all of the extra damage. Yeah, it's a rough one for Nongshim.
Nongshim going for the classic, well, I guess we cross-map. Yeah, we're looking at, you know, Hail Mary barrel. Not the player, the ability. Yeah, but that's normal. You know?
Yeah, and I guess they can probably actually just do that as well. As Kingen, he's going to try and go for it once again. As
Passive does a lot of damage.
Doran not going to be able to get the ulti to work out as the immediate follow flash comes through. Cannon Barrage says that there is no way Chiu's going to show up as well. They're investing a lot to kill this Sion, and kill him they will. It's just at what cost?
Nongshim is really hard.
Oh, Kingen just not able to get any of these barrels. Does eat some oranges in order to get out of the way, but that is going to spell the death.
I feel like he really wanted Celestial with how a lot of this is played out.
Oh, the charm just not really going where it wants to as the Chaos Storm gets every flash under the sun. Kingen gonna be the first to go down, and that, like you said, is just gonna spell the end. Oh, Voidseeker almost killing Ona here, who's still ticking down as there's the paranoia to finish him off. I think it's a one-way trip though, as Gideon trying to get himself out of there. The zap going wide, the knock-up not connecting, and he has the spell shield. Oh my goodness, is he out of there? No, Tongue Lash going to come on through. The zap not quite going to work out, and there's the Fear Tether. He sidesteps the next Tongue Lash, and there is a Mega Cone to get him to safety. I think there was a flash in there from Faker.
Wait,
and
did he get Drake?
Roars. Okay, yeah, maybe they're going to be able to get the Drake as Gideon going to Fear Faker, and now he's continuing his merry jaunt. He now knows that he's dead, but that was, you know, he made that choice.
Let's start this up. All the damage dealers are here though.
Yeah, Cannon Barrage not available just yet. Alex going in, misses the charm, and gets crashed into, or at least Kingen does. He needs to get out of there, but he has no options. Over the wall goes Calyx. Lan's gonna follow him, but Ona gets over there as well with a Heartbreaker. And now it's a 50-50. Still, it's exceptionally dangerous as the charm is going to come through onto Doran.
One-way ticket.
There's the paranoia, and he needs vision. He needs to be able to click on someone to get in. The triple knock up there from Doran as well, as the Baron is now low. In goes Lahens, over the wall they go. The Baron is still at 1,000 health as Gideon unable to get it because Ona is the king of smites. Calyx able to get himself out, but the fight is well and truly lost. And T1 are going to look to push for the win.
It was Smash!
All right.
How did Smash get it?
Well, maybe because Gideon died. Because they just ignored the Baron. It was really smart stuff there from T1. A swift call to say, we are killing them. We are not going to take down the Baron.
It's the Smash Splash damage, Atlas.
Oh, God.
He got them. Oh, God.
Well, okay. Maybe the game isn't over.
That gold lead has gone to a nigh insurmountable level. Although, it's only mid-inhib. I'm trying to cope, Atlas. Although, it's only mid-inhib, all right? Mid-inhib. And they're not going to lose Soul.
True.
Doran has in about
70,000.
Atlas, let me cope.
Okay, got it.
I got nothing.
I think Doran can actually just walk up, tank all 5 of them and the turret, and then T1 kills the turret.
I thought that on Sign, and it was never true. But they didn't have the rest of T1 backing me up there. I feel like it might have helped.
Yeah. Just having a look at how many bits of health bar he has, you know? And they're just guarding this siege minion.
So 30 seconds
to clear out vision where he can. And Doran's doing it. He is making the play. Yeah, where he just walks up, tanks the turret, minions stay alive, and the second inhibitor is going to go down. Nongshim, it's up to them to try and start a fight here. And they do have all of their buttons available. It's done, but we need to now take this moment to try and see whether there are any angles. Even him up, as Lahens just taking a cue for fun.
It's bait! Oh, no.
Yeah, well, they do manage to get a charm onto Faker, who just goes golden. Lahens now just going to get knocked up and taken down. Sometimes you just have a Zhonya's and you're just feeling fantastic as Ona heart breaks in. Jiu going to have to flash as Ona gets over the wall and just flashes on top of him. He goes golden as well, though, and it's another charm that's looking pretty good. Death's Daughter rains down onto Ona, but he's able to get himself out of there. And Nongshim, they are bleeding. They've lost a Rakan, but they have a few of their tanks, their damage dealers still left alive. But Doran just doesn't take damage. And now Carrier's diving forward. Down goes the gangplank. Carrier will fall, but he's making the sacrifice for his team. And the GA is procced. The Nexus is exposed, and T1 will be able to take down Nongshim here in our first series of the